to be is important for every guitar player because every guitarist uses the pentatonic scale in some fashion. And if we're sounding blocky, right, we want to remedy that. And this is how we start to remedy it with these 3 simple tricks. I get a lot of questions about knowing the pentatonic scale and soloing and having it sound boxy or blocky and not flowing as well as a student wants it to. And so this lesson here is to show you how you can take your pentatonics and make them more musical with about 3 very simple tricks. With that being said, let's get down to it. The pentatonic is 5 notes. We all kind of know it. And the first thing that I find with students is that they learn it in these little pieces of like, well, the big block, then the half triangle or trapezoid, then a rectangle and a rectangle and a trapezoid. And I understand that mentality of learning the boxes like that, but you have to learn the full box because professional players use the full boxes and they see it as one big box. Okay, so that's step number 1. You have to get your fingers on this whole thing and know it as best you can. The thing that I see a lot, and I'm going to play for you right now, is people who know the box, but they sound like this. Now, I'm not making fun, but this is what I get a lot of questions, is if your soloing sounds like this, then we're going to help you. Here we go. Okay, something like that. If it sounds something like that, we have a remedy for you. The easiest way to look at this, and it's very, very simple, is to look at this pentatonic box a little bit differently. You want to see 3 strings at a time. And what I mean by that is, let's start on the high E string. We want to see the notes on the E string, the notes on the B string, and the notes on the G string. And when we play, we want to make sure we cover those 3 strings in a lick, in a riff. A lot of people bounce back and forth between the 2 notes because they're still kind of like, sussing out the pentatonic and looking and saying, well, what can I do? And we see these notes and say, okay, well, I can play these, but it sounds blocky if we do that. The pentatonic itself has missing notes that will sound blocky if we focus on the biggest gaps here. So we want to incorporate more notes so that it sounds like there's more going on. So when you play a phrase, you want to cover 3 strings at a time. Now, is this the golden rule? No, but this is the rule to help you sound more melodic. So what I'm going to do here is look at these 3 strings, and I'm going to play a lick, or I'm going to play some licks over this backing track, which is an A minor, and we'll talk about this more, and I'm going to show you the difference, all right? I'm going to cover these 3 strings in a grouping. There it was. I'll do it again from here. Okay, that was 3 strings at a time. One more. All right. So you can see when you do at least 3 strings, we gather more notes. So it doesn't sound like we're going back and forth between just 2 notes. Ding, 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 ding. All right. I'll do it again. Now I'm going to look at these 3 strings: the B string, the G string, and the A string. The D string. Listen to me. D, G, and B. I'm going to do the same exact thing and show you that you can do this on every set of 3 strings. Here we go. Let's see. And you can do this for every set of 3 strings inside any pentatonic box, and you really want to try focusing on that. Now, that's the second tip. The first tip is like learn your boxes. Don't learn them as little individual like shapes within the box. That's gonna terrorize you when you're trying to solo. Step 2 is keep 3 strings in your phrasing for now to help open up the movement and the melodies hidden inside of pentatonic. Number 3, quite easy, is if you really want to sound a little bit more professional, all you gotta do is end Well, actually, you want to start and or end on the root note. Now, this is an A minor backing track, and this is an A minor pentatonic. 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, 5/8. Quite simple. And knowing where your A's are is going to help you, because you can either start and end on them. Okay, that helps like bring the moment in, but more importantly, end your phrase with a little bit of pizzazz. Change your rhythm up. Give a little bit of a 1-2 jab at the end of your phrasing that is different from the start of your phrasing. So if I start off and I'm going, I'm going to end with a little bit of like a punch, all right? This is kind of familiar with my David Gilmour video where I talk about how he rams into the doors, but you want to practice this. This helps with the flow of things, of going towards your soloing and moving stuff. So I'm going to start and or end on A's, and when I solo, I'm going to end a little bit of a 1-2 punch that kind of like right before the ending of my phrase helps kind of like show that I'm confident in my phrasing and I'm trying to give you something to listen to. So let's listen for that. 3 strings in a box, 1-2 punch, root notes. Man, that looper today. All right, so the idea here, 3 simple tricks. See the whole box. Professionals use the whole box. And yes, they move through boxes, but they don't use like 2 strings at a time. They don't. They see the whole thing because they know they have to move in it. Number 2, for your sake right now, you want to try and keep 3 strings in your phrasing. On Patreon, we're going to practice this with 3 strings, a major and a minor chord progression, so you can see how it works in both, and on the guitar neck, okay? Because taking your pentatonic playing to where it needs to be is important for every guitar player, because every guitarist uses the pentatonic scale in some fashion, and if we're sounding blocky, right? We want to remedy that, and this is how we start to remedy it with these 3 simple tricks. All right, so now, if you made this far, stay tuned. I'm just going to show you something that has nothing to do with guitar, but it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I'm going to show it to you in a couple seconds. So thank you so much for being here. Practice this. It's a very, very simple, very quick lesson, and let's see if we can get that pentatonic phrasing to sound less blocky and more melodic. All right, take care. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. All right, some of you may not know, and some of you may know that besides teaching guitar, I absolutely love plane spotting and thinking about planes and the engineering and jets and stuff. I just, every time I'm traveling and there's an airport, I go and I plane spot for about an hour. I love it. I think that the engineering behind flying is unbelievable. So I just want to show you something that I got. So if you are interested in this, I'll give you a link below, but you can see it right up here. It's my Trent 1000 model engine that actually works. I'm going to give you a quick demo. The person who made it, I just want to give him a shout out. And if you're a fan of plane spotting, check this thing out. And that's pretty much it. Here we go. All right, here we go. So this is a model of a Rolls-Royce Trent 1000, and it's actually fully functional, and it has reverse thrusters. And I know people who don't get this are gonna be like, what is this guy talking about? But if you're a fan of plane spotting and jets, this thing actually works. This guy posted his 3D print on Reddit, and I saw it. I messaged him and asked him if he could build me one, and he did. He sells the 3D printing software, but if you want one, I'm not a 3D printer, but if you want one, you can message him in the link below, and I'm sure you can work something out. So this has working reverse thrust, and oh my god, I can't show you this. And it really is a turbine, and it really blows wind. I might blow something over in my as a throttle. And it really pushes air, and it has a working reverse thrust, and it's the coolest engine model that I've come across. And if you like stuff like this and want to have it on your desk and just play with it for hours, you can use the link below. Besides that, thank you so much for being here, and thanks to Adrian for sending me this awesome jet.